Are you struggling with loss? Are you willing to challenge everything you've been taught about life and death? Beyond Proof Radio is a space that explores beyond current self-limiting beliefs surrounding loss, offering radical healing which will come from the least likely of places. Join Angie on her experiential journey, which includes metaphysics, science, and spirituality, proving that the body is merely a shell of our soul. It is possible to create an amazing life from the depths of pain. It's your life. It's your choice. Now, here's your host.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Angie Corbett-Kuiper, your host of Beyond Proof Radio with Angie Corbett-Kuiper. And a lot of you may wonder today why I would bring a guest all the way from Australia who focuses on energy and vibration and finding our true calling and our true passion. What does that have to do with life after death or finding the proof that our loved ones still exist? And I was led to Doug because there was a fear inside of me that I didn't quite understand what was sabotaging me. Being in corporate America for 30 years, I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. I knew when I was supposed to show up. I knew everything that I was supposed to do, and yet it didn't bring me joy. What brought me joy in a really unorthodox way is when death presented at my door. And it was through trauma that either forced me to sit still or to grow into something different. So as I'm trying to grow into something different, a fear started coming up because I was so good at selling someone else's product, but not my own, and not my own story. And yet when I saw people on the street and shared the beams, the joy, the beam of light that would come across their face, why couldn't that bring me joy? Why couldn't that be the reason I got up in the morning? And there was this fear. And I was led to my guest, Douglas Peacock, and he has literally helped me move beyond the fear into a place of conscious being and everything I do from a heart center. And I couldn't wait to share that with you. And so I want to introduce Douglas Peacock. He calls himself an ordinary soul with an extraordinary gift. Doug, welcome.
Thank you, Angie. It's very kind. It's such an interesting journey that you've been on. So thank you again. So where do you want us to go? What do you want to look at? You know, one of the things I look at with Angie, what she just said there, is the ability to step into the light, the ability to step into her heart and the love. And that's what I love most of it. You know, we hang out together, we get to see it. So where do you want me to go with this? What do you want me to do?
So let's do this, you guys. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to start with talking about Doug, your story, because I really want you to hit. Most of us, it takes a trauma to be able to start walking into a conscious way. And then the second segment, you all, we're going to talk about energy. Doug's going to explain energy and vibration and frequency and how it all connects. And then we're going to go, how do you use this once you find it and recognize it? And then the fourth segment, Doug has a great project and program that he's launching on August 10th that he can't wait to share. I can't wait to be a part of it. And you all, it's complimentary. And it's getting a taste of what Doug's work is. But Doug, is Terry Ann right there? I didn't know if you wanted to introduce her and say hi. It doesn't matter.
No, she just dropped the young fella off at school.
Okay, so the young fella. Don't you love his Australian accent? But Doug has a beautiful partner, Terry Ann, who is kind of works behind the scenes, right, Doug?
Yes. She's very intuitive too. She's very aware, and we bounce off each other like we sit on the green couch at home, and we get to talk and go into the depths of consciousness and unraveling and seeing it. And because I come from a very intuitive, expansive way, where she can tend to be a little bit more from the other realm, from analytical, she gets the processes done. I'll go, "Wah!" and she goes, no, well, from this way. And what happens is when we blend together, when we teach together, it just amplifies, so everybody gets the teaching and the understanding on how the energy works and how consciousness is unraveling. So I'm very blessed that she chose me.
Beautiful. Well, say hi to her for us, and we're just so honored to have both you all as a team together. That's one thing Jan and I had as well. Here's the analytical cardiologist and me going, oh, so that's nice. So Doug, tell us a little bit your story. You didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, wow, I can see things.
Yeah. And this is really interesting, because, the more I thought about it, when you talked to me about this, I went, oh, I never tell anybody the real early part. See, I've got part Maori blood in me, which is part Hawaiian. And the funny thing is, when I was 12 years old, and I don't tell many people like this, I used to be in school, and I would be sitting in class, and and I would see the teacher, and I would be looking at the teacher from the ceiling, and I would shake my head, and I couldn't work out what was going on. And I don't really share that much. And then my parents come from a kiwi fruit orchard, and I'm down there mowing around the orchard, and you can imagine you've got 26 acres that you're mowing by hand. It's not much fun. You get pretty bored. And I'm sitting there, I'm pushing the mower one day, and I got really angry because I hated what I was doing, and I'm mowing it, and then I just was struggling, and then all of a sudden I banged the mower into one of the trees, and I just saw this vision, and I saw myself standing there with my hands over people, healing them. And I went, this is weird. It says, who do you think you are? Do you think you're Jesus or something? And I just threw it off. Fast forward from there to 1996, I'm on a building site, and I'm working as a plumber, because Dad said I could leave school at 15 so long as I got a trade. So I became a plumber. And I'm on this building site. I had my plumbing business. I'd had it going for ages, for many years. And I was going through a real stressful time. And I was working on my own on site, and I just collapsed on the building site. Like, totally, I don't know how long I was out for. I was just gone. And then, but when I came back, when I got consciousness again, I was just able to see energy. I looked up and I could see all the colors around the trees, and I could and began to see things. And I looked at my hands, I could see energy streaming out of my hands, and I knew something had happened, and I didn't know what it was. But that's when I went home, and then one of my friends came around, and he introduced me to my first shaman that I went to see, because I knew something had changed. And he was a spiritual teacher and a shaman, and so he helped me understand that, no, you're not crazy, you're just being opened up, and you can now see. And so I began my journey then, playing with energy and learning to understand consciousness. And it got to the stage, and I used to play with it, and I'm a little bit naughty or mischievous, where I got to play with the energy centers on people. I would go out and I would be able to move energy in people's bodies, because I could see where a shadow was, and I would just move it for them while we're at a pub or something like that. And the energy would just move, and they'd go, what the heck did you just do? And their pain would go, oh, that's fun. And then I opened up a little bit deeper. I began to see the organs in people's bodies. And I thought it would be a great pickup line for me then, how I could see the organs and say, oh, now I can see the organs of people's bodies. And the first thing the girls would do would cover their private parts. I went, don't worry, I'm not looking at that. But then I began to, it fascinated me to understand energy medicine, so how I could help people. And then people just started getting results. They just started healing, and these amazing events. I began to see miracles happen, and this took me to America, where I got to experience a couple of times, or more than a couple of times, my first experience when I realized I could see a little more than what others could see. was I was at a place called the Monroe Institute in Virginia, and that's where everyone goes and you do out-of-body lucid dreaming and all that sort of stuff. But I was there and there's this lady and she was in so much pain. She had a pain in her chest, and everybody, all these different healers and that were there from different walks of life and doctors, and no one could help her. And I didn't really get on that well with that person, and it was pretty rough back then. And
mischievous and rough. Well,
yeah,
well.
You got to remember, Angie, I come from a background of construction and playing rugby, and just a real macho background. And so anyway, this lady's there, and they asked me, well, what do you see? And I said, well, she's got a post in her chest, like a stake in her chest, and no one else could see it. And that's when, and they said, what will you do? And I just went on, and I just went up and pulled it out. And within 20 minutes, she was totally fine again. And they said, how did you do that? And I said, I just can. And that's basically started the role of people would come. I saw this little boy that had an accident where Apple got shot into the ground. It hit him up under the eye, lost his eyesight. Doctors said he'd lost his vision. And I went up and worked with them. Didn't know them from bar of soap. Spent 3 days with them, and it opened up, and he got his full vision back. And I got many stories like that where things have just changed, because what we do is we shift the consciousness.
And I'm going to stop you here right now, Doug. Hold that thought. We're going to talk on the next segment. We're getting ready to head on break, you all. Doug is going to talk about how you can feel that and then use it. And so hold that thought, but then I'll share with you all how Doug has worked with me in that same way, and the people that he has healed that I have heard of. So with that, you all, welcome back to Angie, beyondproof.com, and with DouglasPeacock.com if you'd like to learn more about Doug, his message, and the work that he's doing. And we'll be right back after this message. We're back. Welcome back to Beyond Proof with Angie, with my guest, Douglas Peacock, all the way from Australia, which is 16 hours ahead of us. So it's tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for him. We left off, Doug, and we were talking about the healings that you were able to do just from seeing someone's energy or their vibration, seeing the blockages. You guys, I have to say this because Doug is going to be very humble, but most of you know who Natalie Cook is. If you watch volleyball, she's an Australian professional beach volleyball player. Here's what she had to say about Doug. I had a goal to reach my 5th Olympic Games. I can't explain how or what you do with that energy stuff that you do, but I know it just works and helped me overcome many injuries and deal with the mental pressure so I could achieve my dream. Thank you, and I'm forever grateful. You are a real friend. That is huge. How I met you, Doug, was through a friend who was going through stage 4 cancer. You were able, and she says you healed her, when in actuality, you probably instigated the journey. We must take responsibility for our own healing. But let's talk about energy. How do you do this?
Anybody can read energy, and I like it. Yes, for me, I've been blessed that it just opened up and I can see. But one of the things I do is help people to be able to understand so they can read and sense their energy. We all know what it's like when we walk into a room and people have been fighting. We feel the energy, we sense it. So each of us can do this, yet when you use it with awareness and you shift your consciousness to want to understand more. See, I'm very curious, I'm very playful, and I will go in there and look to see what's causing it. Frequency. And we realize this. See, all of you guys that are listening here and sitting there, you can see how you're feeling there right now. And with your intention, and what I mean by your intention, you bring your attention to your heart. in the center of your chest, and then you just ask for what's possible, and you allow yourself to step into the love in yourself and raise your vibration and just allow yourself to expand. And even as I just say that there, you can feel the expansion within inside of you. Now, some of you will realize, and this is what I see, the little spots, for me, they show up as little colors or little bits of resistance. Now, this is where a little tip I want you to give you. If you've got a resistance while you're sitting here listening to this, coming up, or a part of your life that may not be working, I challenge you and I ask you to invite love into it. Because when we recognize in frequency and we see the darkness, and this is like you said about that lady that I helped with the cancer, we invited love into her fears, into the resistance where she was holding herself stuck, so to speak. And as we do, we hold there. And you sit in the love, and the love and the light will untangle everything. We must remember, and this is one of the biggest things about energy that I recognize, is you don't heal anybody, they heal themselves. And what they do is they step into taking their power and realizing that they are the powerful creator. We're not victims. We can do victim behavior where we get ourselves caught, and this is where illness or dis-ease may come in your life. But when you bring your attention to that place and you know yourself as love and you're willing to step into it as love, you will set yourself free. And then the magic happens and the illusions and what happens. When it comes to the energy around people, and how you see it, if some of you want to do you want me to share how they can see the energy?
Absolutely.
If you want to see the energy, one of the first things that I learned to do was to look at trees, and I would allow my awareness to just shift. I would allow my eyes to expand, and like I'd go into expanded awareness, and then I bring it down into foveal vision. So I go really expansive, and then I bring it down. And when you look around the trees, you'll see just outside of them, there'll be a field of energy. Most people can tend to generally do this. And then you look around people. If you see around them, you'll see an energy around them. You'll see the etheric field. And then what happens is you can ask, and I'll give away a big tip here, a real cheeky thing is, all you need to do is, your TV, how you just change channels? That's all you do. You just ask your consciousness to see on a different level. And you say, okay, so I'm seeing the energy on this level, and we're looking through our eyes, seeing on certain level. And then you say, okay, so what's on? I'm watching, say, channel 7, what's on channel 9? It's a completely different vibration of what's going on. And all you're doing is, through your intention, is you are flicking your consciousness. And then the more playful you can be with it, the more powerful you become. Because when you don't take it seriously, and now make sure you hear this, you don't take it seriously, but it's serious. You be very focused and very purposeful on what you're doing, what you're wanting to see. It will open up inside of you. Now, what happens for a lot of people when this happens, it'll bring up fear in you. Your fear of you're going to do it wrong, or fear of what's going to happen. And this is something that you touched on earlier, Angie, about when you're doing what you love, and yet there was this big fear come up inside of you. The fear is what covers your greatest love. And when you go into that, allow yourself to step into that fear with love, knowing that you're going deeper into the divine or deeper into the wholeness within inside of yourself, then the magic happens. That's where the miracles happen. That's where
that's
people
powerful. Fear that covers our greatest love.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're scared of that love. And so we go away. We're scared of that love. That's why the fear comes up. And when we notice that, we go, oh my goodness, what would happen if, when I have fear come up, and this is the trigger, the trick to do it is you invite love into the fear. Because fear will just barge on in the room. It just comes into the room. And yet when you invite love in, don't expect it to be all flashy and big, strong or anything like that. It just comes in and it just is there. And it's like you go into a room and you turn the light on, And then that fear and that resistance begin to fall away. And there's just so much loving kindness comes through. It's just you, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter. You let go of the tension where you've been holding yourself. And this is one of the biggest things that I see in the frequencies of people's energy when we're able to place them in that place, in their dis-ease, where they're uncomfortable, where whatever's going on in their life, when we're able to place them there, they begin to be able to see the truth. And when you're able to see the truth, you will set yourself free. And
Doug, let me ask you to, and for my audience here, because we've touched upon some medical and health issues, and of course with Natalie, with her physical and athleticism, but business.
Yes.
I can see where this might be one area that it would be extremely difficult to work from a place of love in corporate America. They just seem very, very, the dualism or the contrast of produce, and money and monetary. How can you, and is it possible to work from a heart place centered in corporate America and still be a high achiever in everything we do?
Definitely. And one of the things that I'm finding, that the people I work with in these multi-million-dollar businesses that I work with, the ones that are willing to go there and be in this loving kindness in themselves, in their wholeness, they are finding their opportunities getting drawn to them. One of the things that happen is when you can sit in that love, and one of the things, because I work with people in business all the time, and I really love it because they come and they reflect back to me, and their business reflects back to me where their energy is being held. And you see that in the frequency, and you take them into it inside of themselves, and then all of a sudden it lets go in their business. And, you know, one of the things to recognize in business is when you you step into wholeness in that area of your life, and you know yourself at it, you become the frequency up high, and you are then the magnet that draws the goodness to you. And it's a teaching that I teach people is when you see the other people and you've got conflict with them, like you're talking in corporate America, you got to remember they are just the divine in drag. They are the beloved looking back at you.
Say it again, because we're getting ready to head on break again. Divine in drag. And this, nobody better steal it. This is Doug Peacock's mantra. I love that. I'm going to say one thing before we head on break. I remember when we were working together, and it was very, very interesting. It was a turning point in my life. The difference between kindness and happiness. And I remember what you said to me. You said, because I was confusing kindness with happiness. I can be kind, but I'm not going to make everyone happy. And I think that becomes a people pleaser kind of a, you know, so when you shared that, and I'd like to discuss a little bit more about kindness, happiness, when we come back. But next segment, you guys, we are going to go into recognizing our own divine energy and how we can create joy. One of the things Doug has shared with me in our sessions is, what do you want to create? And that was actually kind of funny, because I'm like, well, I want to create this book. Well, why? Well, because I want, well, why? And you've pared it down beautifully into what do we want to create? And if it doesn't create joy, and that's what we want to talk about next. So when we come back, you all, I'm with the beautiful Douglas Peacock, myself, Angie Corbett, with beyondproof.com. And if you want, go to douglaspeacock.com and find out more about him and his message. And we'll be right back. Welcome back, my beautiful viewers. I am on today Beyond Proof with Angie with beautiful Douglas Peacock all the way from Australia. And right now we're talking about energy, how to become familiar with it, feel it. And like Doug said during our break, is everything is energy. Absolutely. Some of us vibrate at the energy of a table. Our goal is to vibrate at potentially the energy of Fness or of love, which is so much more beautiful and fluid than our desks and any material things. So Doug, talk to us a little bit about energy, the energy of fear versus the energy of love, and how we can start walking in love and not fear. You did a great job on the last segment talking about that attraction of walking into the light and walking into the love. Could you go a little bit? Because I think there's a lot of people out there right now that fear is just taken over. They don't even know where to start.
Yeah, and there is a lot of fear out there. It's in the consciousness, and you can feel it's quite palatable at times. But one of the things that I want you to look at, and when I talk about fear and when you talk about love, if you, and I'm going to give you a couple of different analogies on dealing with it and how you can work with it. Fear can be like going into a dark room. You can't see. It's like all your senses are blocked, and there's that paralyzing feeling inside of you. And then when you invite love in, it's like turning a light switch on, and then all of a sudden the fear will let go. Now, fear is very constricting. It'll constrict you. It'll slow you down. It'll hold you back. Where we look in love, and when you step into the frequency of love, it will just be light. It won't tell you anything good. It won't tell you all these places. It'll just be light. It'll be peaceful. It'll be calm. And love, but one of the things that when you learn to recognize love, it doesn't just necessarily need to be fluffy love. Love is just, no, I'm sitting in truth here. I'm just sitting in loving kindness. As I sit in loving kindness, and one of the biggest things where a lot of people make mistakes is they think that they need to throw out the love to everybody else so that they are feeling loving. But think about it. When you are with your partner and you are holding their hand, and you hold their hand and you feel love inside of you, was it them doing it to you, or was it you?
I would say it was me allowing it, right?
Yeah, you are feeling your love. They are the catalyst that is showing you the feeling of love inside of you. You are feeling it inside. You create it through your chemicals and the energy in that inside of you. It just opens up. What you do, because when you go into fear, you go, you clinch. When you go into love, there is a releasing and an opening. And that is the easiest way for you to know that you are in love. I'll give you a little question. I'll give you a little test on yourselves. Okay. Think about yourself as a parent or somebody else. And if I say to you, you're a bad parent, you're not good enough, it's your fault, you're guilty, you're bad. Notice how you feel in your body. Did you get tight anywhere? That's an energy. That's an energy, a fear that's constricting inside of you. Now, if I said to you, you're a piece of chocolate cake, what do you notice? Did you have the same constriction, or was it just meh?
Yeah, you're right.
It's just
I love that. That's a great analogy. It's what you were sharing at the beginning as well. You walk in, and I've said this to my son when he was younger, Mom, this energy is, woo-woo. And I'm like, time out. I said, have you ever gone into your classroom and you just felt like people were talking about you or not being nice to you? How did that feel? And I think that's a huge point, Doug, is it's a feeling. And I wrote something before our show about you. Traditional therapy, you hope it's making a difference. When I've been working with you, you know it's making a difference because you feel it. So how do people start feeling when we've been taught that men only feel anger and nothing else? It's interesting when I've had people that I'm working with actually kind of confused, like, oh, I must have hurt your feelings. Oh, I must have squashed you. Oh, I must have. They don't understand the feelings, and yet they're trying to project them as if they do.
Yeah, interesting in that statement there. Oh, I must have hurt you. I must have squashed your feelings. When you say that to somebody, or when somebody says that to you, you are projecting onto them that they are a victim.
Ooh,
and you're
okay,
powerful.
yep.
We are all powerful creators in our own right. Everyone is exactly the same. No one's bigger, faster, higher. We've all got the same amount of divine juice and love inside of ourselves. And what happens is, and this is one of the things that healers do a lot, where I see they make the biggest mistake, is they see someone, I need to heal you. So they project onto you, which puts you in the state unconsciously of being a victim. You're not a victim. You're a powerful creator. And when you are able to see, and this is what you said earlier about, I take people from their problem thinking, what they think is wrong, to no, what do you want to create? And what we tend to do is we orientate ourselves into problem thinking. You look at life out there, we're always trying to solve problems. And so we go from problem to solution to problem to solution. When we're focusing on the solution, where do you think your focus is? Is it actually on the solution, or is it on the problem? And this is where we create a tension. We've got our problem here, and we get the tension to try and find the solution. We get the solution or whatever, and then we get ourselves another problem, and away we go. What I like to get people to recognize is you're not broken. You don't need fixing. You're powerful creators. When you turn your awareness and your attention to what you really want, and you get there, you then connect with your heart, and you get your end result, and you get out there, and the heart will pull you towards it. You get attention. There will always be attention. Think about it when you go for a run. You feel how fast you can go. And then if you lean into it, you get tired faster. If you run a little slower, it just feels sluggish. It gets easier. But there's a tension there. That's energy. That's the attraction of being able to draw things to yourself, and the frequency that which you're resting at. When you move from problem thinking and the fear, which is all the negativity, and when we look at it through the lens of alchemy, that negativity is like lead. When we focus on what we truly desire and want to go after, that is turning the lead into gold. And that's how the magic happens. That's where the healing happens. When I work with anyone in business or health issues and that, we never focus on what's wrong. We only ever focus on what do they want to create. Where do you want to go? How do you want to know yourself? And we're bringing you out of the frequency of your programming, your unconscious thinking, and planting you in the seeds and the magnificence that what you are. So if people here want to know how to do that, bring your attention to the center of your chest. And just let go, and let go of any idea that you need to get it right, and just allow yourself to connect with your body. That's it. Now, as you take with your attention, you just step back into your chest a little. There you go. And you feel that light, or you sense or see there may be a light there, there may be space there, maybe just darkness for you. That's fine. Just be there with it and give thanks. give
I
thanks.
love that. We're coming up on our next break. Douglas, thank you for that. And before I would just kind of want to wrap this up a little bit. One of the things that I've been practicing in my life now, and you've helped me with this immensely, is that joy.
Yes.
Do everything in joy. And so, I mean, you and I work together. Do you get joy from doing? When do I stop doing this? When do I quit providing? When you quit feeling joy. And so I found the more I step into the joy or the love, it's almost as if it's an easier than it's like a power versus force. I'm no longer forcing life, I'm allowing it. And that was huge for me. Does this bring me joy, or does it bring me resentment, anger, fear? And if I keep walking in that joy, the better it gets. I mean, just it's amazing. So with that, Doug, thank you very much. We're going on to our next break, you all. And coming up on this segment, Doug is going to share with you a complimentary program that himself and Terry Ann have put together. And we cannot wait to share it with you. So when we come back, thanks for listening. Beyond Proof with Angie and DouglasPeacock.com. Thank you all. Welcome back, my beautiful viewers. I am here with my guest, Douglas Peacock, all the way from Australia. We have been talking about energy and frequency and walking into joy and walking into love and recognizing the divine creators that we all are. And it was interesting, as Doug and I were on break just now, we were talking about walking into the fear, walking into the joy or the love. Why would we walk into, Doug, the fear when joy is right there? And I shared with Doug, it's because that's what we've always done. So it becomes a difference between a familial or a familiar habit versus a new way of living life in more joy. Why do I continue to do this? Because it's what I've always done. Now I can see the difference between when I walk in joy. There's no regret. There's no anger. When I'm doing it because I've always done it, nobody appreciates me. Why? Why am I doing it? Because so Doug, thank you for that.
Yeah, that was the thing that changed my life when I recognized that and realized that inside of myself. And I bet you a lot of your listeners are the same, where you just feel, for want of a better word, crap. You're looking at your life and you're doing things and you're getting frustrated, you're angry, fearful, whatever. And then just sitting there quietly for you, joyous. And you look at it and you look at your life and you go, why am I doing this problem? Why am I getting so frustrated? And you go, and at that moment, you've got a choice. You can just choose joy. Now,
I love that. That was the life-changing for me too, with my son. You and I talked about it.
Yes.
And I don't want to keep going here, Doug. I'm going to interrupt you because
Yep.
I do want you to spend the next several minutes with us going over your program that's coming up. So if you guys want to learn more, Doug and Terry Ann have created what's called the Natural Creator Methodology Series, and it's complimentary, coming up this August 10th, which would be 9th for us.
Yes, you're
Okay,
9th.
perfect. And so I want Doug, tell us about this. You're so excited about it. It sounds amazing. I got your email just yesterday. It's a 3-part live experience. Talk to us what my viewers can expect, where to go. And Ciara, my beautiful producer, if you can put up how people can get a hold of Doug and Tyrion and how to register for this event, that would be awesome. Doug,
Yeah, I'm so excited to share it. There's going to be a 3-video series, and if you miss it live, there are other replays if you've registered. But the thing about it, this is the depth of our work, where we actually go in and help people to recognize where they've been caught in their problem thinking, where you've been caught trying to fix things your whole life. Because the big thing to remember is you're not broken, you don't need fixing, you just have your ladder up on the wrong building. And when we learn to live in wholeness, and when we learn to use these 5-step processes that we are going to share on there, you can change any area of your life. And one of the things that we do is, once, like when you choose a goal, when people go, well, yeah, I know what I want. No, is it a heartfelt goal? Is it really what you want, or is it what you think you want because of your problems that you've got? I want $1 million. Well, why do you want $1 million? Oh, because I need to pay the mortgage, I need to put my kid through school, and blah, blah, blah. And you go, well, no, you don't want $1 million. Those are just that's problem thinking. And one of the biggest things I do in my work is get people to learn to turn to be focusing on and seeing themselves as this powerful creator, because we're all powerful creators, we're all amazing beings, and we've all got an amazing genius within inside of ourselves, that when we let it go, when we step into it, anything is possible. And we use energy, and this is where I use the energy to help you adjust to really achieve what you want. And so over the 3 weeks, first I'm going to teach show the framework on how to do it. The second one, we actually go into money. And then the third one, we go into health and getting you to step into creating the life that you want to live, and showing you how to step into it. And there's going to be questions and answers, so you can ask anything that you want in the context of what we're talking about, and how you use the super conscious or the divine and wholeness within inside of yourself to sit in, to stay in joy, as Angie mentioned, and to keep being able to step into joy and not fall out, but it's fall out into fear and anger, but it's an orientation. And what I teach you there, what I'll share with you here, is how to orientate yourself to be focusing in this right direction. And that was a life changer. When I learned this, it changed my life, and the manifesting of being able to create what I want became so effortless because of what I was doing. So
I wish I would have known this before. I have to share with you, I wish I would have known this 30 years before.
Yeah.
Because it would have been I would have worked very, very differently than I did, because I felt like a hamster on a wheel for the majority of my life. It was get the report done, work until, go see this many doctors, go to this many pharmacists, get your report in by this. You've got to go on this date. You've got to go out of town. It was just it felt chaotic, Doug.
Yeah, and that's most people's lives. And it was my life. And you're going from problem to problem, trying to you're putting out fires, you've got dramas, you've got people's agendas, all that's going on, you're stressed. Yet when you're going after what you want, it's like going into a banquet, and there's every meal, you can have anything you want. But the thing is you won't have everything, because there's no way you can eat all the food on the banquet in one setting. But you can have anything you want, you just need to choose it. And this is how we teach you how to do this in a practical way, so you get results. And when people join us in this, I just love watching them get their goals and get their choices and live that magnificent life as a powerful creator, and the joy and fun that they have. And
you should see your face,
such a blessing.
Just lights up when you say that. And so I just love that you guys have created this program. Yeah,
sorry, the thing about the program there too is that what I do is we keep people plugged in, because people hear it and they fall away, hear it, fall away. And what we do is we actually show you how to, we put something together to be able to help people so that they stay on track and they don't fall away.
I love that. I love that, Doug. Well, thank you so much for your genius, for pushing all of this forward for all of us. I can't wait. And if you can remind people, where can they go to sign up, and can they sign up all the way up to when the program starts? And then you'll have recordings as well. So if people can't be there for the live, you said?
Yes, they'll get the recordings. They just got to register and the recordings will come out to them. What you do is you sign up to create.consciouscreatingmastery.com/live.
And Sierra will put that up for you all, so you don't have to memorize that, but click on that link, and you can go and join. And you start this Thursday, correct?
Yeah, the first call's on Thursday, then it's the second call's on Tuesday, our time, which will be Monday American time, and then the last call will be Thursday, the 17th for us, which will be the 16th for you.
And I love this. If any of you are looking for a program that doesn't just take an analytical approach, but takes a whole holistic approach of heart, body, mind, heart, and soul collectively, and find that joy, it changes the way you not just work, but the way you live your life, the relationships that you have, not only with other people, but with yourself and with your health and how you live that life. So Doug, we've got a couple minutes. Finish us up here. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on and just being just a pure joy. You are not the divine in drag, you are the divine in joy.
No. And you know, one of the things is that there's only ever love, there's only ever joy, and we're all wanting to know ourselves as this wholeness. And you know, we make reasons why we can't, but the reasons are all just that, reasons. When you come back to joy, when you come back to just sitting in the wholeness in yourself, miracles can happen. You can create anything that you want, and you've experienced it in your life, and you are a living joy of working with the energy and working with consciousness, and it's our natural, it's who we are. So why wouldn't you want to know yourself as this amazing gift, as this amazing genius that you all are? You know, everyone that's listening to this, know that you're a genius. It's just, you've got to allow yourself to let it out of the bag. And no one's better.
I love that. Beautiful. Doug, thank you from the bottom of my heart for my audience. This has just been a pure joy, and I am just so honored to have you on my show, and I'm so honored to be working with you. You aren't just a healer, you're also like a healer friend. I consider you a friend. So thank you so much, and we hope to have you back sometime too.
Thank you. I look forward to it, and I really enjoyed this. Blessings.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for listening to Beyond Proof Radio with Angie, redefining death and loss. Tune in every first Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Angie shares, through choice, present moment awareness, and a willingness to keep an open mind that anything is possible, even in death. For more information or to listen to past shows, visit beyondproof.com. That's beyondproof.com. See you next time.